Hola! You're about to read my review of the best bass fishing rods. I've been fishing for 20 years, and I go bass fishing at least a few times per month. I love their aggressiveness and the fight they put up. Over the years, I've used many rods designed for bass fishing. Still, I can't claim to have tried everything. So for those that I didn't get a chance to test, I did extensive research on them and spent in total close to 6 hours just on research. In the end, I decided these were the best bass fishing rods based on quality, ease of use, durability, and finally price. These rods can be used for almost any kind of fishing technique and for all kinds of bass. Competitive bass anglers also use these rod manufacturers, so if you don't trust me, trust the pros. If you're just looking for an affordable fishing rod strong and sensitive enough to tackle any bass, and light enough for you to make casts all day, don't bother reading any further. You're looking for the Garcia Veracity. Starting number 1 Garcia Veracity casting right off the bat, you'll notice that it's made with first-rate materials. The guides are titanium alloy, the most corrosion-resistant material. Its handle is cork and EVA foam, providing all-day comfort and a very secure grip. As for the rod material, the graphite ensures the rod is sensitive. And you'll notice from the power rating that it's a really sturdy rod. In fact, the rod power doesn't reflect its true strength. I tried it out and its ratings are lower than the actual power. This combination of sensitivity and strength allows you to handle the biggest bass and still feel the timid bites of the smallest bass. In other words, it's the most versatile rod. You can confidently go fishing for bass, knowing that whatever bass takes the bait, you'll have it in the bag. To top it all off, the Garcia Veracity is unquestionably one of the lightest bass fishing rods in existence. It manages to achieve this by baking Powerlux resin into the blank, filling the space around the blank with Powerlux resin rather than graphite, which is heavier. For you, this lightness means you can effortlessly make as many casts as you need. So is it perfect? Well, yes and no. It's perfect for bass, but it won't hold up against monster fish or other super small fish species. Still, since you're here, I'm assuming you want a rod for bass, so that shouldn't be a problem. This unbelievably light bass rod that delivers top-notch performance is almost in your hands. The only thing standing in your way is price. For a rod like that, you'd be right to expect it to be really pricey. Lucky for you, it isn't. In fact, it's only a tad more costly than the average bass fishing rod. For what you're getting, it's a no-brainer deal. At number 2, St. Croix Mojo Base Casting. This is made possible by St. Croix's integrated polycurve IPC tooling technology. Currently, this technology is the most advanced in the market. No other company knows how to do it. IPC eliminates transitional points in rod blanks, giving you a stronger and more sensitive rod. It's safe to say the St. Croix Mojo Base Casting Rod is as strong as it gets. Even with all this focus on the rod blank, St. Croix didn't neglect other components. Similar to Garcia, it uses graphite so that the rod is light. Its aluminum oxide guides are exceptionally smooth and durable, and its cork handle provides a secure grip. You'll be hard-pressed to find a flaw in this A-grade rod. It doesn't have as great sensitivity or lightness as Garcia Veracity though, which is why it isn't the number 1 pick. Of course, that isn't to say it's bad because the sensitivity and lightness is still pretty good, just not as good as the Garcia Veracity. The rod itself has little room for criticism. The problem is, it came to me in a very poorly packaged box. It seems that having made such a fantastic rod, St. Croix believes that it can get away with shabby packaging. I was a bit disappointed, but nevertheless, the rod itself was fine and worked like a charm. Moreover, had the rod actually been damaged, the 5-year warranty would have covered it, so I wasn't too worried. St. Croix is a respected brand in the fishing industry, having been around for more than 70 years. They're well known for building quality fishing rods that fit any budget. The St. Croix Mojo base casting rod is proof of this and won't disappoint. At number 3, St. Croix Triumph Spinning, it is also unsurprisingly the lightest bass fishing rod we could find. But that isn't the only reason to get it. This rod is also amazingly sensitive and robust. First off, the 7-foot option weighs a mere 4.2 ounces. This exceptional lightness comes from the SCII carbon. SCII carbon is a special graphite fiber with a higher strain rate than normal carbon fiber. In simpler terms, this means it's stronger, so less material is needed for the same amount of strength. Since less material is used, this rod is extremely light while still remaining robust. SCII carbon also brings with it outstanding sensitivity. In fact, this is one of the few base rods on the market that is sensitive enough to be considered an ultralight rod. What this means is it's sensitive enough to feel the most timid bites from panfish. Power-wise, this rod is tough, but the Abu Garcia Veracity triumphed in this area, which is why it's ranked behind the Abu Garcia Veracity. All things considered, this is the best spinning rod you can get for base. It's priced reasonably too, so it won't break the bank. At number 4, Penn Battalion 2 Inshore Spinning, it's easy to use, which is why we chose it for beginners, but the real deciding factor was its quality. While bait casting rods have always dominated the field when it comes to bass fishing, spinning rods are much easier to use. Beginners often have trouble with bait casting rods. As such, spinning rods are the better choice if you're just starting out. I found the Penn Battalion 2 Inshore spinning rod's handling to be quite intuitive, so beginners won't have any problems with handling the rod. Aside from being easy to use, it's also made with the finest materials. I couldn't say this for the previous 2 rods, but rubber shrink tubing, which is used in this rod, provides the most secure grip in the world. Fuji Alkanite guides also happen to be the gold standard in fishing because Fuji is the go-to brand for guides. Additionally, this is the only rod with an extra fast action. Even the St. Croix Triumph doesn't have this rod's sensitivity. If all these weren't enough to convince you, consider this. Penn is a brand that is renowned for their quality and tournament-tested products and rods. They hold about 1,400 IGFA world rankings for their superb performances in various saltwater game fishing tournaments. In essence, the Penn Battalion 2 Inshore spinning rod is a good rod to start with, especially if you're looking for a high-quality bass fishing rod. At number 4, Penn Battalion 2 Inshore Spinning, it's easy to use, which is why we chose it for beginners, but the real deciding factor was its quality. While bait casting rods have always dominated the field when it comes to bass fishing, spinning rods are much easier to use. Beginners often have trouble with bait casting rods. As such, spinning rods are the better choice if you're just starting out. I found the Penn Battalion 2 Inshore spinning rod's handling to be quite intuitive, so beginners won't have any problems with handling the rod. Aside from being easy to use, it's also made with the finest materials. I couldn't say this for the previous 2 rods, but rubber shrink tubing, which is used in this rod, provides the most secure grip in the world. Fuji Alkanite guides also happen to be the gold standard in fishing because Fuji is the go-to brand for guides. Additionally, this is the only rod with an extra fast action. Even the St. Croix Triumph doesn't have this rod's sensitivity. If all these weren't enough to convince you, consider this. Penn is a brand that is renowned for their quality and tournament-tested products and rods. They hold about 1,400 IGFA world rankings for their superb performances in various saltwater game fishing tournaments. In essence, the Penn Battalion 2 Inshore spinning rod is a good rod to start with, especially if you're looking for a high-quality bass fishing rod. At number 6, Cast King Para G2 spinning. As compared to the ugly Stik GX2, it's a little less powerful, but a lot more sensitive. A quick glance at the specifications may have you wondering why this is a budget rod. After all, whether it's power, sensitivity, or lightness, it has it all. What you may not realize is that this isn't exactly the most durable rod. After a few weeks of use, the rod tip of my Cast King Para G2 broke off, and a week later, one of the guides fell off. Rod tips tend to be the first thing that snaps in a rod, but a few weeks is still too short of a time. Basically, you'll be paying for great specifications that won't last very long, which explains why it's priced so competitively.